this highlights a problem with the procedure that and I hate to bring it back to that, but that the Duterte decision last year kind of complicated. Because before, this would not be a new strategy. This has been done in previous administrations in order to prevent a strong case from proceeding. So there will be a flimsy complaint that will be filed, no, not sham, but flimsy that will be filed. That complaint will proceed to the Committee on Justice. But by the time, may 1 year bar rule na. So no
Mm-mm.
one can file a stronger complaint within basically a little more than 1 year. Right?
Mm-mm.
So the check on that used to be the ability of the 1/3 of the House to file their own complaint via the separate mode. So medyo unusual yung circumstances na to. And I
Mm.
think it that's one of the things that may have not been considered by the decision. And effectively, this is also the reason why when the media was taking this on last year, many commentators were saying that impeachment is effectively dead as a process for hearing complaints about high public officers. It's now going to be a game of technicalities, and that's what you're seeing now. Potentially,
Mm-mm.
what you're seeing. This is not to say that the complaints that the House referred to the Committee on Justice are weak. I encourage everyone to read them if they have a copy of the complaint. But it certainly raises, or
Mm-mm.
it certainly confirms one of the fears last year, which is we've over technicalized, impeachment
Mm-mm.
to the detriment of the process.
And so, do you share that opinion that impeachment as a tool for accountability is effectively dead?
I'm not, going to say that it's effectively dead, but it's certainly very different from how it used to be. That it was an
Mm-mm.
opportunity for us to really see evidence, no, and the defense of a person who was accused of very high
Mm-mm.
crimes and impeachable offenses. I'm not sure if that can still be the venue now, because it's, as you can see from what's been happening the last few days. Game siya ng unahan, timing, right?
Mm-mm.
Is it within the 1 year bar rule? We're not talking about the offenses anymore.
Parang yun nga nakikipaghabulan, nakikipagpatintero. To get
Yes.
there, to get to that office, hunger game, mala hunger games, ano. But we are expecting another set of impeachment complaints. I don't know how many will come, but this time against the vice president come Feb 6. Have we ever gotten to this point before where there is potential for the two highest leaders of the country to be impeached? And how do you think would a simultaneous impeachment look like?
So certainly not. No, we've never had this situation before. I don't think we've even had a situation where two impeachable officers were being heard in the House at the same time. And it has a few day-to-day implications on the House's business. The first is while legislation will continue, obviously the political energy and attention will be spent on these proceedings. And that's not always good. It's good to talk about accountability. But if the process is making accountability more difficult to be actually realized, then we're wasting financial resources and the time of the House, hearing multiple complaints. So there's a challenge on the part of the House to ensure that the process is seen as one with integrity, and therefore, if it's really insufficient in form, insufficient in substance, it should dismiss it. If there's sufficient evidence, then the hearing should be conducted in a way that will
Mm-mm.
not be allowed as a forum for grandstanding and really a fact-finding, straight to the point
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
hearing. Right? So that's the challenge on the House. But on the larger political scheme, no, it certainly creates some sort of instability. You now have your two highest officials in the country being subject to an inquiry that will potentially result in their removal from office. And you have
Mm-mm.
questions that will emerge there. So first is, sino mauuna, right? Sino maunang may impeach? Or sino unang
Mm-mm.
matatanggal? That has an implication on the line of succession. And while the Constitution certainly provides for rules on what will happen if both seats are vacated by the
Mm-mm.
president and the vice president, I don't think that's something that we would want to have. The instability that creates is just too much, especially given the other things that we've been worried about, flood
Mm.
control and economic issues.